Hi guys, Andreas on Mainliner with another video, and I don't know what this video is going to be about because I started off wanting to do a response to Vinyl Andy's 20 Psychedelic Records, and I pulled out like with a lot of excitement records from the shelves and all that, and then I sort of thought about it a little bit more, and then I understood, well, not understood, I remembered that the whole deal was records from the 60s basically. So I have a lot of psychedelic records, but they're not from the 60s, and I have a lot of 60s records that are back in Greece. So I'm sort of missing some key releases and whatnot, but I did pull some records, and you know, I might as well show them, right? There's probably more than 20 records, and sorry, maybe this is a little bit loud. So there's more than 20 records here, and I don't know, I mean, you know, let's see what happens. I mean, you know, I will start showing some of them. Maybe I will show some new stuff that I bought. I mean, I'm way behind anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So first up, what's playing in the background? If you can hear it, I don't know whether you can hear it. I got this for the princely sum of £2. David Holmes' Let's Get Killed from 1997. Go international, go beat. And this is sort of a remix kind of deal, kind of mixtape-ish kind of thing going on, and it's really good. I mean, yeah, for £2. I don't know whether it was released on vinyl ever. I have no idea. I've never seen it on vinyl. I've never, I don't know. But yeah, for £2, you know, I cannot really complain. It's really good. So, the stack. There's quite a few actually that I've pulled out. I'll try to stick to the 60s theme as much as I can, because I have, the thing is that, you know, it's psychedelia is what we consider traditional psychedelia, if you like, is stuff that came out from 66 onwards until like the 70s, and that was mainly US and the UK, basically British bands and American bands that made it, and then the rest of the world sort of caught up, and there have been some really good stuff from the 70s, early 70s, although it never really stopped, and we gave it a different name in some cases. So for example, German psychedelic music, which is essentially what it was, is usually like, we refer to it as krautrock, right? I mean, Can are psychedelic. They're not psychedelic like, you know, I don't know, the Chocolate Watchband were, or Jimi Hendrix, but in essence, that's what they are. They are kind of that kind of thing. Anyway, so let me check some stuff here. Yes. Is this from the 60s? I cannot remember. So one of the things that I pulled out was this album, which I'm pretty sure is from the 70s, Red Hash by Gary Higgins, and I do not recall if this is early 70s. Yes, it was early 70s, 1973. Now, Gary Higgins, I think that he released just this album only. I think he got arrested for smoking marijuana, and you know, smoking marijuana is a bad thing. It's bad. I don't say no to drugs and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, he got arrested, and he just never did anything like for I don't know how many years, until he did release something back in 2010, I want to say. I don't know, not too long ago, but some time ago. And this is a brilliant sort of druggy kind of psychedelic folkish kind of record, I guess. Really good. This is a reissue from Drug City. Comes with a 7-inch. if you see it, grab it, and that's all I have to say. Now this is something that is actually from the 60s, and I cannot remember. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's like bang on 60s. So this is 1967, the Electric Prunes live in Stockholm, and I dare say that this is probably one of the best things that the Electric Prunes have ever released. Although it first came out in the early 2000s, there is a different version of this that is purple. This is a second reissue. The first release was like 500 copies. It's gone and it's probably very expensive. This version you can find and comes super highly recommended. The first time I listened to it, we was at a friend's house. He had it and we put it on, and usually what we would do would just go through records. He had a really good record collection, a lot bigger than mine back in the day, and he had like a lot of things that, you know, I've learned a lot of things from him. And I would just go through his shelves and just pick out stuff and like, oh yeah, I've read about this. Well, let's listen to that. So the records wouldn't stay on for that long, but this played from start to end, and at the end of it, we both felt like we've been at the gig. It was amazing. It's bloody brilliant. Highly recommended. Check it out. Okay, what else have we got here? Yeah, I've shown this quite a few times actually, and this is a bit of outsider kind of record. 1969. This is a private press. Mary Butterworth. I want to say they were from Texas or something like that. No. So according to the hype sticker that has it says something about it from the Acid Archives, no less. It's LA High School Pothead Sounds. LA school, LA area high school. Well, basically, yeah, it's kids. I mean, look at them. Look at them. And they had an echo on the drums, which makes it like, you know, it sounds a little bit like dubbish, although there's dub wasn't something back in that time. I think 69. When was it? Yeah, 1969. I don't think that they actually made dub records yet. I don't quote me on that, but I don't think that it was a thing. So it sounds weird, but it works, and it's a bloody brilliant album. If you see it, do check it out. Highly recommended. Where do? Oh yeah, another artifact from the 60s. This is not a full album because the band never released a proper kind of album. They had like a few recordings and a 45, and this is all compiled here. This is the Factory, Path Through the Forest, which is pretty much the name of the single, and it appears twice. So it appears on the B side and on the A side, and plus some additional tracks. And the B side is like an unreleased version, which is has like a few more like effects and whatnot. And yeah, it's worth getting this just for A Path Through the Forest. It's that good. It is that good. The rest of the songs are good as well, but not as good as Path Through the Forest, and it's just a totally epic song. It has been, I found out about that song from a mixtape of, well, it's not a mixtape, it's like remixes from the Wizard Sleeve, Beyond the Wizard Sleeve, and they had released a CD that had 60s, reworked 60s songs, and one of them was that one, and it's bloody brilliant. What else have we got? Haven't I pulled that one out? Okay, one that seems to be missing, and I don't see it anywhere, and I think it's still there, is Wizards from Kansas. It's a band before they became Kansas, and it's a very good. It's there. Never mind. I'm not going to get it. I've shown it quite a few times. It's quite essential. It's not very well known, but it's really bloody good. Here's another one from 60s, like bang on 60s psychedelia. Chocolate Watchband. This is Inner Mystique, and half of it is like garagey psychedelia, and half of it is like, you know, trippy kind of sitar, instrumental music and whatnot. And yeah, this is a bomb. This is really good album. How many have I shown? I have shown five, and I mentioned 1-6. Another one from the psychedelic era, and a really good one as well. The Growing Concern. I do not recall at all from where these guys are. I've no idea. Let's see if it says anything here. They're American, I know that much, but where from? East Coast, West Coast? Meh. Classic psychedelic. It's a bit poppy, but in a good way. Growing Concern. You can find the reissue fairly cheaply. Originals, yeah, you can pretty much forget about it, I think. Unless, I don't know, you're rich or you don't care, or you're that passionate, which I am not. Not that I wouldn't mind getting it, but you know, £1,000 for a record, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I have other priorities as well. Another one from the psychedelic era, 1969, Arcadium, Breathe a While, from the UK, and this is fucking good. I mean, all of the ones that I've shown are pretty darn good, I can say. This is a recent favorite, and this is an album actually that I bought fairly recently. The other ones that I've shown, I've had them for quite some time now, like I don't know, 5-6 years. But this I bought when I went to Barcelona, and I went to Barcelona in July. And obviously, when I go to Barcelona, it was for a business trip, and that is a sign of a true VCer. Go for a business trip and you visit the record shops. I had time, and I did go. I did make time to go to Yahuwah Records again. It's the second time I've been there. The first time I went there, I was fucking impressed, and this time around I was like, all right, you know what? Maybe it was, you know, I was very excited about it. Maybe, you know, it's might not be as good. My dudes, Yahuwah Records is probably one of the best record shops in the world, and you know, hands down. I've been to every city I visit. I try to go to a record shop, and I haven't found one that beats it. And I'm not talking about like being fancy or anything. It's the content that matters, and it's fucking good. Anyway, Arcadium. You might have heard On My Way or Poor Lady, and these are like songs that sort of come up in like psychedelic compilations and whatnot, but the whole album is killer. Super highly recommended. I will not show any 13th floor elevators because, you know, it's like 13th floor elevators. Yeah, really good stuff. I mean, yeah, it's alright. Who can argue? UK. Now, this is not 60s, this is 70s, early 70s. I cannot remember the exact date, but I would say 1970, 3, 4, maybe. Yeah, this is dark around the edges. Dark around the edges. Yeah, dark around the edges. It has some progressive elements. It's not like pure psychedelic. It does have some progressive elements. I'm not a fan of progressive, and when I say progressive, I mean the type of musical wankery where it's like just they put stuff in that are not necessarily required to be there. That's my experience of progressive music. This does have a few of these, basically breaks that are like, that kind of repetitive kind of, I cannot explain it, I don't know how to explain it. It does have some of these, but the majority of it is just good old-fashioned psychedelic music, and not so much British. It's like it's a little bit drier, it's a little bit more guitar driven, and yeah, it's absolute classic. I mean, it's like has become an absolute classic because when it came out, nobody knew about it. So there you go. And around the same era, and impressively enough, very close to the sound of dark, is a Greek band, which is the 4 levels of existence. That's what it says here. It says τα 4 επίπεδα της ύπαρξης, which is what is in Greek, and they sound remarkably similar. And it came out around the same time. I think it was 1976 or something. I wager. I'm really bad with this is a reissue from 2002, 1974. Damn it. I think it's 1976. Yeah, 1976. So it's 1976. So it's very close. I don't recall exactly when Dark released their stuff. This was released in on a proper kind of label, so it wasn't a private label release, but it was like it was in Greece, and who heard of them? It's bloody good as well. Highly recommended. Now going on to, well, staying in the continent, here is a release from 1973, and this is a band that released, I think, a couple of albums. The main musician here is Peter Michael Hamel, and it's between. I haven't shown this. I've had it for a while, and it's one of the releases that I haven't shown because it's one of those ones. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Between and the Waters, what happened to the Waters, and the Waters opened. 1973. Peter Michael Hamel, who later made some records of his own. He became a little bit more into sort of new age kind of electronic kind of person. I don't remember exactly what instrument he's playing, but this is a bloody fantastic album. This is spacious and just trippy and fucking amazing. This is a Yahuwah reissue from 2010, I want to say. Yeah, 2010, and it's fairly it's hard to find. It's hard to find. It hasn't been reissued since, and I paid a decent amount of money, but worth getting it. And it's a really nice present. It's Yahuwah. They do a really good job. If you see it, get it. There's also a reissue of it from the early 80s with a different cover. This is the original cover. Yeah, it's a fucking fantastic album. Highly recommended. What else have we got? Okay, I will show this one. Although I don't want to show this one. I would like to have shown the previous one. but this is the one I have here. So this is Yahuwah 13, an Aquarian symphony, penetration on an Aquarian symphony, which is like equally like, it's sort of a classic in the sort of psychedelic albums sort of genre, if you like. Sky Saxon plays here. He was part of the collective, Yahuwah's collective, and they have a very interesting story as a collective, and they released quite a few albums. Some of them are rubbish, they're like complete hippie kind of commune claptrap, but this one and the first album, which I don't have here, I have it in Greece, which is called I Want to Take You Home, or sometimes it's referred to as The Lovers, because it has a Yahuwah with a woman and it looks like a tarot card. I have a reissue from Swordfish, which is a UK label from, I want to say 2002 or something, and it's fantastic. It is just amazing. It's amazing. That one is amazing. You can listen to it on Spotify. You can listen to it to this one on Spotify as well. But these two are like, you know, the ones that you should get. I want to say I'm gonna take you home, but you need to find it. It is not easy to find. Originals, forget about it, because they were released on their own private label and they were circulated in LA they sold it from the restaurant that this guy had. He was like very rich and whatnot, so you know, it's hard to find, really hard to find stuff, but worth it. This one has been reissued. It's an easy reissue to find, but I Want to Take You Home is the one that I would have loved to have here. 60s. Now this album is very close to my heart. I've talked about this before quite a few times. Well, time 22 minutes is alright, we're doing alright. And it is psychedelic, and it's my second favorite album of all time. And I've talked about this quite a few times. The first favorite of mine used to be In Rainbows by Radiohead. I'm not sure right now whether it's In Rainbows or if it's Moon-Shaped Pool. I haven't made up my mind, but this one stays on position number 2, and there are quite a few reasons. Kim Fowley, outrageous. This is an original on Imperial Records. This is a US press, and yeah, this album is the bomb, and I'll tell you why. I think I've spoke about it. I've done a video about this one, and I spoke a little bit more in length about this. But the thing is that there's a couple of reasons why it's the second favorite of all time. There is the wow factor. So I've read about this long time ago. I couldn't find it anywhere because it hadn't been reissued. You couldn't find the CD or whatever. And eventually I managed to find a download of it, which was in a very odd format, and I couldn't play it back in like 2003 or something. I had to find something to convert it into, like, you know, MP3 and whatnot. And when I first listened to it, it was like, whoa, this is amazing. And it was at a time where I was like, you know, a sort of mature listener, and I was taken completely by surprise. What really drew me into this album was that it encapsulates the spirit of the time that it was released, and it is a fucking trip start to finish. It does have some garage kind of standard garage psychedelia kind of vibe to it, but it has freakouts in it. It has like sort of completely tripped out monologues from Kim Fowley, and it's one of those albums that you need to listen start to finish. I mean, I don't think that you can make it, you know, to get the essence of this album if you just listen to a few songs, which it has really good ones. I mean, Animal Man is amazing. Night Rider, Bubblegum, probably you probably have heard about. You've heard it. You know, it's a very good sort of garage song. But it's the thing is that, as I said, it's like you need to sort of experience it. It's the kind of album that you need to experience. And you know, I had a hell of a experience with it when I first listened to it, and it is a very trippy album, and you know, it's just stuck with me. And yeah, there you go, Kim Fowley, Outrageous. It's not one that you will find, you know, you will see people show a lot. I don't know, I mean, that's just me, I guess. Anyway, 25 minutes, and I've shown, how many have I shown? Hang on. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and I mentioned one, so 13. Okay, I have more here. Oh yeah, okay, right. Yay! This is a good one. I think this was, I don't remember, I don't recall the date this was recorded, so yeah, when was this recorded? So, Pärson Sound. This is the band that became Tradgrass och Stenar. This is the box set, 3 LP set of their recordings, and it was a band that was formed in order to support another musician that was playing in Stockholm, I think. And I don't recall if it was Terry Riley, the musician that we're talking about. I cannot recall right now. I think it was Terry Riley, but I might be wrong. Oh yeah, yes, and this was released in 1967, and these are recordings from 1967 to 1968, so bang on when it comes to the psychedelic era. Now, this is more experimental in many ways, and it's a lot more kraut rockish in many ways, without, you know, being from any of those. So it's not UK, it's not the States, and it's not Germany, but it has that kind of you know, avant-garde element to it, while at the same time remains very, I don't want to say listenable, but approachable. And it's a killer album. So 27 minutes, I don't think that I will do more. 1974, Germany, and this is the bomb. This is really good psychedelic music here. Xian, Electric Silence, 1974, German. I think that this is, I want to say their second album, but I'm not entirely sure. Super psychedelic shit. And when I'm talking about psychedelic shit, I'm not talking about like, you know, garagey kind of stuff. It's like really trippy stuff. Highly recommended. German, yes, not 60s, yes, but there you go. Something from the States. Very good one. Songs of Innocence, David Axelrod, and yeah, it's look at this cover, man. Look at this cover. I mean, yeah. You sort of get it, yeah. Private Press. I do not recall when this was released, and it's a bitch to find. And I know some people have originals, and I think that this is going to be reissued from Lion Records at some point as an official release. Christmas. I want to say they're Canadian, and it was definitely a private press, and it was almost definitely early 70s. Fucking good psychedelic albums, and they've done 3 of them as well, I think, and all 3 are really good, but I have found this one. This is a boot, It's a bootleg. I think this is the label Paragon. I think it is, but no, it's not that label. It doesn't matter. It's a boot, and it's not a boot the record in Canadian. No, it's not. It's a boot. It's a boot, and it's a bootleg, e.g. It's yeah. So Christmas, check it out. Really good stuff. 30 minutes, bloody hell. Germany, Guru, blah blah blah. UFO. That's in Greek. UFO. Yes, I'm going really fast now. Gila, Germany, 1970 what? One. Bloody good sort of early krautrock psychedelic album. Yeah. Italy, tribal, sort of more tribal kind of, not tribal, it's not the right word, tribal. I don't know how to I forgot the word now. So anyway, Actuala, this is a reissue on Psychedelic Records, and this came out in I don't remember. And yeah, this is this is really good as well. I mean, all of these are really good. I haven't shown a bad record, guys. Flamendialis, which are French, and this was a late release. It has been classified under prog, but I think that is very, in my opinion, if Xian is psychedelic, then this is psychedelic as well. And this is from 1979. It's 1979. Yeah, 1979. You know, bunch of hippies took LSD, stayed, I don't know, wherever, and they merged in 1979 to a world where, you know, was overtaken by punk music. But they were tripped out of their minds. They didn't pay attention, apparently. Still, very good album. And this is the last one I will show, which is not exactly psychedelic, but sort of exemplifies the psychedelic kind of ethos, if you like. Mullah, Woe Ye Demons Possessed, or should I say Woe the Demons Possessed, because I think the Ye used to be the, maybe wrong, doesn't matter. 1974, I want to say. 1974, yes. So 40 years ago, 43 years ago, 40 years. I wish it was 40 years ago, because I was born in 1974. So, yeah, the year I was born, sort of testament of, you know, what kind of generation would spawn. Yeah, so this is a very interesting album. You cannot really classify it as a psychedelia. It's more like a trip. Genuinely, it's a trip, and yeah, it's an absolute classic. I mean, this is like you know, an underground classic. There's no other words to describe it, really. So yeah, that's it. So that is my response, if you like it, to the psychedelic albums. Now I know that some of these albums are not even classified as psychedelic, but you know, it's what I pulled from from the shelves. It could be the case that I go back when I put these back, that I go through them and I'm like, oh bloody hell, I didn't show this. You know, I'm seeing right now, for example, I'm seeing Gandalf, so I can see that over there. It's like, should I have pulled that one? It doesn't matter, because 20 records from a genre that is so wide, you know, it will never be enough. You will never be able to cover everything. I mean, I didn't have any of the classics. Like I didn't show any Jimi Hendrix, right? Love, it's not there. It's like one of those albums. So yeah, it's like it's just a cross section of some albums that are interesting. All of these are definitely really good, and I would recommend you checking them out. Although they don't exactly fit the bill, if you like, for psychedelic albums. I mean, you know, if you want to be 100%, yeah, it's not. Some of them are not. They don't fall under that genre, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm yapping at this stage. It's already 35 minutes. You're probably hovering your mouse over the dislike button, which you rightfully right for you to do. I mean, you know, you can like the video if you liked it, or dislike it if you disliked it, because that is the part of the video where I say my thing. Leave a comment, you know, subscribe if you're interested in this kind of thing, and yeah, next video will be about new purchases. And I don't know when I'm going to be doing that. Hopefully soon, because I am getting some. I have some new things to show, and I have a lot of new things to show, but I'm way behind. So there you go. Anyway, see you guys around, and speak to you soon.